Hello and welcome back. It has been a minute. We have had a lot of upgrades around here. It feels like it's been like 2 years, maybe it's been only a year. I don't know. I'd have to check the dates. But we're back and that's what matters. It's funny, I'm holding my microphone, which if you're watching on YouTube, you can look around and see a lot of new things here. But I'm holding already so far. This is the first time I've recorded with this microphone. I'm holding it like I used to do in my performing group growing up where we would sing on solos and I'd hold like this and sing. So I don't know. I'm hoping I can get out of that. But anyway, let's get going, shall we? Let's talk about all the fun things that has been going on. Season 2, baby. Episode 1. We're calling it the Hot MILF Summer because she's a mom. She's been a mom actually for a summer. But last summer we were in the newborn trenches and did not leave the house ever. Ever. And wait, no, we weren't in the newborn trenches. It goes crazy. No, last year my child was 1 and now he is 2. So yeah, I think I was just too scared to leave the house, to be honest. I have no excuse. I remember us leaving, it being hot, whatnot, but if anything, my brain is just the size of a goldfish. It's kind of hard to remember anything, so here we go. If I've mentioned anything previously past season 1, I apologize up front. Like I said, brain is a goldfish, ADHD, we're going to get into that momentarily. But let's go. So, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. The last episode that I did was a Dancing with the Stars review. Sorry about that cliffhanger. I don't know what to say other than I think your girl was very burnt out. No, I know she was very, very burnt out. And I don't even remember what was happening around that time to a point where I just did not record again. And yeah, I think just a lot of things caught up with me with the frustrations of like the little troubleshooting / bottleneck situations for recording. It's actually a lot more than people think. It's more than just turning on the camera and hitting a microphone. Turning on, whatever, holding. I was just very frustrated for where I wanted the podcast to go, and I didn't know what it looks like. Before, when I had started off, I was literally in my closet, and I would just hit record. There was no camera. It was very cozy. I had a lot to say. It was really fun, to be honest, back then. Not that it's not fun. It was really easy back then because I didn't have to think about a lot, and then it just kind of built more and more and more. Y'all probably don't care too much about this part, and that's okay. Point is, I got very burnt out on the little intricate details of podcasting, and then even more so, I feel like every week I was struggling to come up with something to talk about. But then I had Dancing with the Stars that I absolutely loved watching, and so then it kind of turned into a Dancing with the Stars recap thing. And it's funny because what really got me going to start season 2 here, I was listening to some of the podcasts. Actually, it happened to come up on my YouTube page, of course, because it's my own video. And it's like, hey, remember this? Anyway, so I had clicked it just casually when I was getting ready. I was like, oh my gosh, that was actually kind of fun. I remember when I was filming it, I dreaded it because I just felt like I was just yapping about something that everyone already knew. Not that everyone watched Dancing with the Stars. For me, it just felt like just super boring repetition stuff. Rewatching it back now, I kind of enjoyed it because I was just like, oh yeah. No, like, your girl had a lot of opinions. So anyway, sorry about that cliffhanger. I can't promise that we won't talk about Dancing with the Stars in the future, but we'll see for now. Speaking of which, Dancing with the Stars, they just announced Camry, Nelson ? I don't know what the last name is. I didn't even look, but if I were to guess, she's probably from the exact same dance studio as the rest of them was from Center Stage, which once again is 6 minutes that way from my house. In the future, I really think I would enjoy doing the recaps again. However, I'll probably keep them as separate episodes, like mini episodes. If I ever get on Patreon or whatever, that would probably be what would be for that, because then I can be really judgmental and enjoy every bit of watching it and judging harshly as the harsh critic I am. For now, I'm probably going to not worry about it, especially because the seasons haven't even started yet. So, but I hope they do a junior season or bring back the 2 seasons a year. I will stand on that. That would be fun. Okay, ADHD diagnosis. Before, when I was filming season 1, I knew I had ADHD because I had gotten diagnosed in college. I took it upon myself to do that and had all the paperwork and tests done and whatnot. And back then, I had tried certain medications and a lot of them didn't really go so well. But I'd say the main part for that was because I was planning my wedding at the time, and so I was very, very, very stressed out. And with taking meds, that was making me focus a little bit better. It was also making me focus really good on my stress of wedding planning. So it didn't work out very well. Honestly, after a couple months, I kind of just gave up and I was like, whatever, I guess I will live with this. And yeah, so I gave up and was just kind of dealing for a couple years. And then I had my son, who we will now refer to as Bean because I think it's cute. Anyway, so Bean is very cute, but apparently he created / unlocked some internal clock that went off in my body. And so my previous ADHD was manageable, but then things turned for the worse. And honestly, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm pretty sure that's why I stopped at season 1 on a random Dancing with the Stars recap episode. The thing is, with the ADHD situation that I was dealing with, I was exhausted all the time. I would get 8 hours of sleep, wake up exhausted. I would go to the gym, come back exhausted, which maybe that one's a little more obvious, but every point during the day I was exhausted, no matter what I did, no matter what I ate, didn't eat, didn't drink, even though caffeine didn't work for me regardless. Fun fact, ADHD problem. And so then the exhaustion was one thing, but then it turned into kind of like depression, which when I say depression, I'm not saying I can't leave my bed, I can't get dressed, I could still move about my day, but I had like the big sad going on internally, / it was really hard to bring myself to like smile at Bean. Smile at Bean. Okay, we're going with it. Anyway, so that, and then like it would be extra work to be present and happy with my husband, named what are we doing? We're doing Mr. Man. That was it. Mr. Man and Bean. So being present with Mr. Man was very hard sometimes, not because I didn't love him, but it was just internally big sad going on inside. And so I kind of, at that point in time, was just feeling that, and this is more recent, honestly, the diagnosis part, that I was like, okay, is this depression? Is this like very far delayed postpartum depression? Like, what's going on? And so I first went the physical route of, is there something wrong with me? And to deep dive in a summarized version, I went to go get my hormones checked because I was like, okay, what if that's it? I'd heard that word of mouth, that it was a pretty common thing that a lot of women had dealt with. And so anyway, I Googled for good old Utah County, the best local hormone expert, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So I found one, and a lot of groups online that was talking about, oh, this place is great. So I went to said place, went to said doctor, and I was very impressed up front because he was like, oh yeah, like let's order a bunch of these blood panels and look at all the hormones and let's get all that done before we kind of create a treatment plan, which pros and cons, obviously, because cons, you can't get something working right away. Pros, we're going to look at every single hormone. So how that works is they have you go take this blood panel depending on the certain day of your cycle. I think it's like day 10, maybe day 12 of the women's cycle. And it's chosen at that point in time specifically for where your hormones are raised or lowered. Like, I guess it's just kind of the general starting spot. So anyway, so then fast forward through a lot of stuff. We looked at the results. My hormones seemed to be out of whack, not very normal for where they should be. And so then he was like, okay, let's prescribe this, estrogen lowering, progesterone increasing, stuff like that. So I took a bunch of those for a couple months. And so then we went back, did more blood testing, and come to find out through my own research, because I was using Google /Gemini /ChatGPT, and saying like, is this the correct day to test for me? Because I had recently been tracking my ovulation at the time. He suggested that / I was skeptical that it was something with timing. And so I did that, and it ended up being that no, my hormones were fine. I ovulated late, and I tracked it for 3 months straight. And because of that, for when the blood testing was done, actually I said day 10, 12, maybe it was 17. I don't know. Point is though, is my hormones were fine, and he had kind of instructed that just because it was textbook to do it by that day, when in reality, the error is the fact that every female is very different in their cycle. And that was very frustrating to me because not to mention the pills that he was prescribing. Some of them, yes, were just generic progesterone, whatever. But then some other ones were like the special medical herbal compounds that he had. They weren't necessarily something that he created, but he had like a shop link for, right? And so he was obviously getting a slight commission on the things that he was getting, like, selling. So that was very annoying to me. And so I wasted a good 3-4 months chasing all my money for that, because my insurance, even for my medical insurance, they accepted, but it was like higher. Anyway, really annoying. So let that be your lesson, ladies, that if you want to go get your air quote hormones checked, make sure it's a really reputable place. Because I thought the one I was going to was good. However, I guess the first issue, and I'm not out here to hate all men or anything, because there's some very good male doctors in the world, but maybe go to a place that the guy can understand that female cycles could be very, very different one to another. Obviously, looking back, I look like a big dum-dum, and it was a big waste of time, and I don't necessarily want to throw this place under the bus. Yikes. We move on. So I went down the hormone checking path. Didn't really have a lot of success there. And so then fast forward, I went to just a local women's health place and talked to just for a general woman's appointment. And so this second gal, sorry, first female, second person was really annoying. And I beg the question, is it me? Am I the problem? Am I so judgmental? Maybe. But just did not have a lot of success with that sort of thing with her, because I came in, told her all my issues, and she was saying, oh, well, I think you need to sleep in a little bit. Sweetheart, I have a toddler. It's truly laughable. Like, she said that at least 5 times. She said, you should really sleep in some more. I think you should sleep in. Like, you need more sleep. And keep in mind, full disclosure, I had just told her I get 8 hours of sleep. However, I go to bed super early. Like, if super exhausted, my eyes are shut by 7:30. If just averagely, probably 8:30. But, and then I wake up at, it's like 4:30 now, I think. So I told her that, and on average, I'm usually getting about 8 hours of sleep. And so she was like, oh gosh, for the record, I did look it up later. She's kind of right. Like, the circadian rhythm. There we go. The circadian rhythm for females versus males is significantly different. And then if you place ADHD on top of that, things get really messy, because with ADHD, the person's bedtime is going to be a lot later. Like, our bodies just don't want to go to sleep. I somehow have life hacked that, I guess, and have just naturally trained my body just like, no, because we're going to get up early. And if anything, and truthfully, I'm just exhausted by the end of the day. That's how I can go to bed at an earlier time, I guess, fighting that ADHD concept. She was just very adamant that I needed to get more sleep. And I'm like, hey. So I was really frustrated leaving that appointment, because here I had somewhat life hacked my schedule around so I can go to the gym early and come home and have dinner on the table, like stuff like that. For her to be like, oh, I need to sleep. And I'm like, well, great. So that was really frustrating. And so then the only helpful thing that she provided with that appointment was she asked if I had seen their medical service team yet, or if I had had an appointment yet. And I'm like, no, because at this point in time, I didn't think I had depression. I was just, why am I so exhausted all the time? I was like, sure, yeah, let's do it. I grew up in a family / mom that was very anti-mental health, I'd say. Like, oh, you're not sad. You're just go outside stressed or have anxiety. You just need to calm down, read a book. I don't know. That was a lot of the explanation for it. Not that I necessarily believed in it as well. It was just very much nature versus nurture, and the fact that I kind of was just like, okay, whatever, like, I'm not sad, it's fine, I'm not depressed. That was the thought process there. However, with all the stuff that I had been going through with the exhaustion and whatnot, I was like, I will take anything at this point, because I've gone to Mr. Hormone Specialist guy who was completely wrong, and I was on progesterone for no reason for a couple months, which at the time was going to be affecting my fertility too, which we weren't actively really trying back then, but I had come across that and learned that if you're taking progesterone, it makes you like infertile, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Somebody can correct me on that if you want to. That's what I remember reading, that it kind of screws up your body's natural ovulation. That made me really mad, because I had told him like within X amount of months I wanted to try to get pregnant. And so he was like, oh yeah, like that's fine. And so the fact that he never brought it up of like, oh, well, doing this is going to not help, then yeah, that was a big issue for me. Anyway, back to the story. So then I booked the mental health appointment, which went in person because the psychiatrist, I think they said like 2 hours to talk to you about like all your stuff. And so anyway, so I went to that. It was super good. I was so impressed by her. She's so incredibly smart. Had not the best time, but I had a very positive experience. After kind of going through all the spiel at the beginning, and it was coming to go, okay, let me tell you about diagnosis or what I suspect, she nailed it out like immediately. Even through my past experience of having had taken medication for the ADHD, what I'd gone through, she kind of explained like why that probably didn't work super well. That was good fun. Very happy to walk away from that first appointment. Even that same day, went and got my meds, I believe. Took them for the first time the next day. I think it was even the same meds, but it was just different dosage and like external release, or not external. External release? Extended release. Why did I say external? It was a little bit different, but like kind of the same. And so anyway, took it the next day. And when I tell you people, I'm not, this is not the Haley's Druggy podcast. It was slight euphoria and the fact that my brain was so quiet, I could focus. However, I knew that going through my own research, trying again kind of thing, it's basically a high that you can never get again, like unless I were to be off of my meds for like a year or something. I don't know. I just knew it was going to be kind of crazy, but not to expect that because it was going to be like one time and then done. Ended up obviously having a very glorious day of focus and cleaning. The weirdest part with starting the meds for me was the adjustment period is pretty crazy. I had headaches. I had heart palpitations going on. I was not hungry whatsoever, which is a lovely side effect. So that was going on for a good like 2 weeks. However, after the first week, she had prescribed it so I could try the first dose as a double dose so that I could see where my dosage needed to kind of sit. For the very long story short, my dosage, like I kept on having to increase it. Like after the first week, we on purpose jumped to double it, and then we went up another 10. And then I was like, oh my gosh, my heart palpitations are way too crazy. And they're like, okay, let's back up and bring it down to 5. So that was a good spot. And I was there for a hot minute. But then I had some other like side effects going on. And honestly, we'll probably go into another episode because I've been yapping way too long about this part. It was a whole thing. And I feel like you're always just like kind of jumping around to different beds. So that was the whole ADHD situation. The reason why this is applicable is through all the exhaustion and depression, it was straight up linked to my ADHD, because the second that I had my meds working and things were going well, I did not have any of the depression. And as it was described to me by the psychiatrist, she was saying that the reason why sometimes ADHD and depression is presented this way, and the exhaustion, right, is because your body is just absorbing literally everything going on. Like sitting in this room right now, I have a light blaring at me. I can hear the AC going. My dogs are on the ground over there, and some part of my subconscious is probably worrying about them right now. I'm sitting on a couch, but it's not like completely sturdy. It's kind of smushy. I got a blanket on me. My body's trying to probably figure out if it's hot or cold right now. My hair's kind of bothering me because it's heavy. Which my hair is longer, by the way. That is the inner workings of the ADHD mind. A lot of crap going on, and I'm aware of it all, but like it's not necessarily at the forefront of my brain. And so that's why ADHD brains get so exhausted, is because we're constantly processing all that information. And then on top of that, I'm in my own brain, have 50 tabs open, one's playing music. We don't know where that one's coming from. And I'm thinking about how I'm recording right now, but I need to make sure I wrap it up in time to prep dinner, switch laundry, stuff like that. It's exhausting. Obviously the meds help with that and help even things out, and not as chaotic, but it's still a little chaotic. And even to this day right now, the meds aren't perfect and still in the process of trying to figure all that out. Overall, that's the ADHD update. That's the was she depressed or was it ADHD? Maybe it's Maybelline situation. Yeah, so we're still trying to figure it out. It's an ongoing process, but when it works well, it's nice. The biggest unfortunate of the situation is that it doesn't always work perfectly, or your body gets used to it, so it kind of like wears off, so to speak. Actually, still in the process of trying to figure it out. And honestly, I'll probably go into another ADHD episode. I did one last season. Couldn't tell you what was said on it. I have to go listen to it. I want to do another, or at least another life hacks episode, because I have so many more since I last recorded. And I'm all about it. Like, and honestly, on TikTok about like a week ago or so, there was a trend of people doing like their top 5 favorite things or best life hacks or whatever. and I was living for it. I love life hacks. And so hearing the entire world and like the weirdest like corners of the earth was so fun just to see like what people are passionate about. But I did mention Bean earlier, my little boy. He is so cute. Absolutely love him. Being a parent is wild. Watching them grow up every single day, change personalities from yesterday to today, like it's wild, and having so much fun with it though. So that's the little update there. He is so cute and I love him a lot. Yeah, every day is an adventure, and definitely want to give him a sibling. That's hopefully that'll be sooner than later here. Another reason why I took a hiatus on podcasting was I was obviously very burnt out, but I had the utmost technology frustrations. I was sitting in the tiny little office room, which if you go back and look at those videos, they're horrendous, but the lighting was awful. Whenever I filmed, it was after hours, and so I had to kind of create the lighting, and it looked so bad. So everyone look around on the video. It's a lot better. It's not perfect. I'm sure that we'll week by week get better maybe, but I get some natural light glaring at me, so I love that. I'm on a couch, a lot more comfortable than that creaky desk chair. Back is happier. Yeah, overall for the tech frustrations was for like editing podcast stuff and then transferring it. Sometimes I had sound not work, which is why I kind of switched to my setup I have now. Been easier so far, but I haven't edited it yet, so we'll find out there. Stay tuned if successfully have a episode 2, then it works. Oh, also I can be super comfortable. I got fuzzy pillows. I got a blankie, which fun fact, I do live in Utah, but this is a Kirkland blanket. If you are familiar with the lore of blanket companies in Utah, we have Minky Couture, we have Lola Blankets, we have Cozy Earth, we have probably 5 other ones. My favorite girly right now, which I don't have a blanket for them, which wink wink nudge nudge, if you want a partner, actually I'll take a partner from any all blanky companies. But Comfort is that girl. It's spelled COMFRT, which is, this is not sponsored, by the way. Please though, feel free, Comfort. I will DM you and tag you, because fun fact, I didn't even discover you, my husband did. That's the craziest part about this. I don't even know how he discovered you guys. So for Christmas last year, my husband got me 2 sets of y'all's stuff, and I am wearing the pants on one of them right now. You can see them maybe. No, you can't. Well, it has the logo. It says Comfort on it. 2 sets of the lounge pants shirt combos. I was so confused because we were unwrapping presents, and I see like clothes, which I'm like, you're brave. You are very brave, sir, for guessing that I wanted something that I've not even mentioned, kind of thing. Very brave. I unwrap them and I'm looking at these and I'm like, and so then he kind of proceeds to describe and tell me what they're, and like, oh, they're lounge / pajamas, like whatever. And I'm like, okay, pajamas, a classic for Christmas gifting. Like, took them, unwrapped them and put them on, and when I tell you, coming from a girl that has dipped her toe in the many brand pools, which I am wearing Lululemon too. What other brands we have? Let me just brand name drop real quick. Between my husband and I, he's gone with all the shirts. He's gone through Built, Cuts. I think Cove is the recent favorite of his. Comfort though, of course, for both of us. And I'm trying to think of the other ones. Anyway, but Comfort is that girl. So incredibly comfy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check them out. Like I said, it's Comfort without the second O, COMFRT. 10 out of 10 recommend. I don't know anything about their blankets, but once again, blankets are cool. Blanket companies, take the chance on your girl. And I can also do ads. I winked, but I mean it. That is the extent on the cozy situation that we are working with now. Oh, also, I will mention my friends. I have friends now. I don't know, just kind of, it started as a joke, but this is Haley's comfy corner and all the random things. But yeah, they're fun. They're a good time. Back to business. Getting into the concept for why we're back versus podcasting before. Before, I honestly felt like I had to be filtered. And even, I know this episode probably started a little awkward because I haven't recorded in a good year or so. Before, I just felt very filtered. Felt like I had to present myself a certain way. I couldn't say certain things. I don't know if I wanted to be an explicit podcast. I felt like I ended up talking about a lot of explicit things, which if it's right, it's right. And I will, I guess. I don't know. We're still figuring it all out. So, but I mean, at this point, I don't really care. I'm all for talking about whatever I want to talk about. And I feel like I'm less in a box now, or at least I don't care. I mean, I've always been confident, but now I just care a lot less. Couldn't care less. I could care less. Somebody's got to tell me which one it is. Couldn't care less. I could care less. But that's where we're at for now. So, but for right now, we're just going to keep podcasting. Here we are. It's funny because all my notes that I've written like have spanned the last like 2 months. We are now in August. Happy August, everybody. Happy 4th of July and Utah in the month of July. Wow. It was honestly probably one of the weirdest times of living in Utah for me, as well as the most boring. Right off the bat, we had so many wildfires. Like within, I think it was like, must have been in June then, the end of June, where they declared they're like, no fireworks at all. Because it started slow. Initially, it was each city was going to dictate if they wanted to have any fireworks legally or not. Like little ground ones, little sparklers, anything. My city where I live immediately posted, we're not doing it, can't light off fireworks. And we're like, okay. So then a bunch of other cities nearby started copying the same, which I'm not sure if one of the cities did, but anyway, okay, so there will not be fireworks. So then in the back of my mind, I was just like, oh, well, that's fine. Like, there's still going to be like a bunch of sanctioned ones, so we'll probably still see a bunch that night. No, there was one location nearby that was doing fireworks, and it was at just like this park, and it was too far for me to see it, kind of thing, so you'd have to drive to it, but which my husband and I did, but we went to it, and it was so fun. But it was so weird on the 4th of July driving around town and not seeing fireworks. It was the weirdest experience and memory to date. That part was weird. The other part that was weird was before the 4th of July, we were living in like a post-apocalyptic World War Z fire zone, because the sky was literally like ash. It was raining ash. The sky was like burnt red, orange, and dusty. Yeah, it was not a fun time. The air quality sucked, so like you never wanted to be outside to begin with, or if you opened the door to our house, whatever, car door, ash would fly in and was just kind of everywhere. So that part really sucked. Not a fan of that. The worst part throughout it all was the concept that some of them were probably arson and started intentionally, but that just sucks. Like, screw you. Some of them obviously were started accident wise with traveling embers, and so that part was unfortunate. It was to a point where Utah was on fire, like a lot of places, and so that was a weird moment. And we still actually have fires going on right now. There was one announced, I think it was like last night, 2 nights ago, pretty big one. And because once again there was ash flying around in the sky. I'm not a fan of that. Weird time to be living in Utah. Okay, and also the other funny thing is, so with all the fireworks, there was all these firework tents of vendors, sellers trying to sell fireworks, and they were all set up pretty. And Utah has a firework problem, I'd say, because we have a lot of them. Like within a mile radius, I'd say you could probably find like 2 firework tents wherever we went. There was this whole discourse thing with, should we be buying fireworks? Yes or no? No, because why would you? You're gonna just light them off, whatever. But that you should, because these people are families and business owners, that they needed to sell their inventory so that they can provide for their families and whatnot. And so it's just like, but then that begs the question for me personally. I'm like, okay, are these fireworks going to expire then, or can I use them next year if, Utah's not on fire? Regardless, like, they usually have the same promotions that I feel like they've had other years, so they didn't seem like they were hurting that bad, because it's usually like buy 2 get 1 free or something like that. I don't know, but I was waiting to see like the big banner unfurl that says 75% off, like everything must go, because for me it was looking like that. It was looking like that for everybody, and so that part was a little weird. However, for the actual 4th of July, we still had a good time. My husband smoked some ribs on our Traeger. 10 out of 10 Traeger, sponsor us. Actually, you guys liked one of his videos, or I made a video last year and they liked it on TikTok, and he was over the moon about it. He's like, oh, or no, they liked it and commented, and they're like, oh yeah, like I don't even remember what the comment was, but he was over the moon for it. So he loves y'all a lot. If you want to give him a little swag bag or something, I'm sure he'd be over the moon for that. Rigs is always a staple on our Traeger. It is the best investment. We don't even own a grill because we have a Traeger, and I know people have a lot of arguments for that, but for me, we will forever use the smoker and Traeger over a grill first. You can kind of use the Traeger as a grill still. That's kind of just different how it works. But but we also went to Ace Hardware, and they were giving they were doing like a little barbecue outside. It was just very standard, like hot dogs and whatever. But we brought Bean and Mr. Man, and we went to get Pokemon cards and check for Nitos, which we will get into Nitos momentarily. They were serving hot dogs outside, and it was like the most just like classic little 4th of July interaction, despite everything feeling weird because there was no fireworks. It was a good time. Love Ace Hardware. Best hardware place ever. The sky was constantly looking like it was something out of Stranger Things, and oh my gosh, migraines. I had a migraine for a good like 3 days straight. I'm not kidding. It was constantly my head pounding. And I was not alone. There was a lot of people out there with headaches and bloody noses, I'd heard, just from like the awful air quality that it was just affecting us all so badly. Not a fan. Obviously, it is a very tender, touchy subject, given that Utah initially was going to get this massive data center and dry up all the water that we don't have. And then the entire state of Utah was on fire. I haven't looked into it yet, but I might go check on where that data center is, because I'm hoping we're never going to hear about it again, given all the crap that went down. And that was something that I notoriously was seeing in comment sections as well for Utah residents, was like, oh yeah, well, let's bring the data center now. That's going to help. Like, given that Utah was on fire, which, yes, I concur. The thing that kind of makes me wonder is, given that some of these fires were described as potential arsons, I wouldn't be surprised if that was because of the whispers of data centers. Whispers, more like published news, but potential data centers for being built here, because it honestly just went to show that we don't have the control of our horrendous global warming, hot, dry Utah environment situation that we're dealing with. But yeah, it does make me wonder. One of the other fun things that we did on 4th of July is I recently got being a dog pool, because they're more sturdy than the regular kiddie pools that usually pop or whatnot. And so we filled that up, and it's a pretty big dog pool. It's like the size of a car, if a car was shaped in a round format. So, but yeah, we filled it up with water, and we had like a little water table, a bunch of like random like little bath toys and whatever. Solid time for 2 adults and a toddler. That's all we needed. That was so fun. And so I think we'll either make it a tradition and do that, or we also have like this blow up splash pad thing. I haven't used it yet this year. Maybe we'll give that a try tomorrow. But honestly, it can be a lot of work to set up. But super fun though. If you are debating on getting not just a kiddie pool, but a dog pool, this is your sign to do it. Because the nice thing is, like, not even the typical dog pool or the typical splash pool. Because, like, I feel like a lot of people, when they think of, like, the typical kiddie pool, they're thinking about, like, the blue plastic disc. And you can't, like, fold it, and you can't move it, and it's really heavy to, like, drain it. But, yeah, but the dog pool, it's, like, a flexible little thing. It even had, like, a little nozzle, so you could let out all the water to, like, slowly leak out. And then you can fold it up. So, 10 out of 10, recommend. I got mine from Walmart on sale. So that was fun. And yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend. So then also, because of the nasty air quality during the month of June, maybe it was July, my husband and I got sick. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what was worse, the air quality or being sick during the summer. Being sick during the summer is the weirdest concept. It's not cold. It's not weird weather. It's bright and sunny, and you're walking around just dying of illness. Didn't love that. Overall, it was awful, because not to mention we were sick, but we couldn't really go outside because the air was disgusting and ashy and hot, horrible to breathe. And so that sucked. And so we were all very stir crazy because of the cabin fever of being inside 24/7. And the worst part is that like our house physically was like stuffy, especially because like we were sick, and we couldn't open the windows because to like let air kind of flush everything out, because if we did, then a bunch of ash would be in our house. Yeah, it wasn't a great time. We did have some air purifiers on full blast constantly, so that helped a little bit. Yeah, don't move to Utah, everybody. But overall, I feel like Utah and ourselves were hit by some sort of cosmic truck, because everything in our lives was going, it was insane. For one, we had the weather being awful, but then everything was like starting to break in our house. We had our washing machine break, and that was a whole mess. It was quite the chronicle. And then I tried to take it upon myself to fix it using ChatGPT/Gemini. Do not recommend. With the blue collar things, do not recommend. I took the machine apart step by step, and then I proceeded to remove upward of 50 screws. Not kidding. That was literally about how many. Off of the machine, took the front of it off. But before I did that, I actually flipped it, leaned it forward against a wall, put it on its side 100%, access through the bottom panel, which if you are any bit savvy with any of this, removed and replaced the stabilizers. And what else? Oh, ordered the wrong drain pump because ChatGPT said it was the correct one. And it was to a point like we did not have a working washing machine for, it was probably like a week and a half. And oh, woe is me. We had a toddler, so toddler clothes. Like that kid gets a clean outfit before he sleeps. And so he goes through 2 outfits a day pretty much during his nap kind of thing. and then we go to the gym, and so that's one outfit, and then when I get home that's a second outfit, and then if I go outside then I'm gonna put on a clean outfit after I shower. A lot of clothes. It was horrible. Anyway, if you want to hear the long story on that, I would tell you, but it's probably more boring than I was traumatized by it for. Whole thing, my advice, do not try to DIY your washer breaking. It will not end up well. So, however, the one compliment when I called the, I think it's called Urgent Appliances or something. I think they're in Orem. But anyway, he was like, I've never seen a such descriptive intake form, because I had used their website, like, chat, like, what's going on, what's the problem thing, and I probably wrote like 3 paragraphs for all the steps that I had done, and like, oh, I did this, but I got this code, and I got this. Anyway, I promise when he told me, he was laughing, but he wasn't making fun of me. He was like, it was impressive, if anything, like it was helpful because it was completely clear on the situation, the issue, whatever. So I was happy that he didn't think it was like super extra and annoying. So that, yeah. Anyway, it was fun. It was a chronicle situation and really frustrating because after talking to him, he said that the drain pump, which is what was like broke, was very typical for so we had gotten our washer dryer from Costco in like 2022, and it had been obviously a couple of years, and that he's just like, yeah, this notoriously just goes out and it's so crappy piece of a part. And I'm like, cool. So that sucked. But thankfully it was only like was it $200? I don't remember. Anyway, it was honestly cheaper than the emotional trauma that I gave myself to try to fix it. So yeah, your girl likes to DIY. That one is gonna live rent free in my head for a very long time for something that I never should have tried to attempt to do. So 10 out of 10, don't recommend it for that. The other part of it was because our laundry wasn't getting done for a good like week and a half, is I had to go to the old fashioned laundromat, and it was fun. I don't know. The nice thing is that it was so fast because I had like 3-4 loads of laundry going at the same time, and then dryers going at the same time. But my golly, it's expensive. It is so expensive. It's like $7 for a washer load. And then the dryers were like $2, and one of them ate my $2, but the place was awesome. I had wrote like a little like, help, it ate my $2, and they like contacted me and reimbursed me. So love them for that. But it was nice because everything went really, really fast, but it sucked because it was so expensive. Anyway, so that was part of the horror of the laundry diaries. The lesson learned / best feeling in life as a working washing machine. I took it for granted for so long, so that when it was broke, oh my gosh, it was so depressing. And the second that it was working again, and like this, like the normal sounds I was used to when he was testing it, like, and doing the speed thing for it, I'm like, it was beautiful. I had never heard such beautiful noises in my eardrums. Besides washing machines, I'm pretty sure a lot of other things broke too, but I can't remember them right now. But our most recent one, everybody, is because your girl's just a girl. We didn't change our air filter for our house for a very long time. And it's sadly one of those things when you buy a house, they don't give you an instruction manual for. And so that was unfortunate. And our main AC filter had not been changed for ever since we'd moved in. And the technician guy came out, and he was like holding it up to the light, and he was like showing me, he's like, you should be able to see through this, like see light filtering through it. But because it was so dirty, you had like literally like move it apart to even see a crack of light. Anyway, yeah, go change your air filters, everybody, because our AC wasn't working at the time, and I thought it was broke one way or another. And he like literally was checking a couple things, pulls out the AC filter, and he's like so politely side-eyeing, pretty much so politely. I was not offended. I just felt like an idiot. So anyway, that was ordered, replaced, and immediately working within the next day. But yeah, Utah's been having some crazy heat wave problems, like a lot of 100-degree plus days. And back growing up, we didn't have a lot of those, when I say me growing up. And so global warming is definitely a real thing, and kind of concerned, to be honest. And I think it's only going to get worse. And if we get a data center, it's only going to get really worse. So not looking forward to that. And the other worst part about it, that it being so hot, is normally during my kids' nap, I like to do yard projects because it's the only time to do it. And however, it's so dang hot right now. And yes, it's August, it was July, whatever. And to be expected, but it's just like, it's annoying because I have all this motivation to do all these yard projects, but if I were to attempt to do them, I would be immediately drenched in sweat and exhausted, tired, probably heat wave, burnt, sunburnt. Unfortunately, it's kind of just a wait it out kind of thing. But once we get back into it, I'm excited to finish a bunch of yard projects that I've either halfway started or I've been living in my brain rent free. And a lot of them, it's not even like cutesy things. A lot of it's like utility. Like I want to build a lawnmower path, which I kind of started, to be honest, but moving the stepping stones are so heavy. Like I have to take, I'm pretty sure I calculated like 5 different trips if I want to move the amount of stones myself, because that's where your girly comes to a fault with the DIY stuff, is that I refuse to have something like delivered because I have to pay for that, like the shipping fee for it. That's fun. Does anyone else have that horrid DIY bone in their body? Because it is very obnoxious at times. But overall, like I said, it's a hot MILF summer. That's the mindset I'm going with, because I am a mother and I'm looking forward to being a mother again sometime soon here with getting pregnant or not. And it's such a weird time in my life because obviously, I mean, a lot of people have stated this where it's like, I intend to get pregnant again. So also gonna get fat again. Beautifully glowing, chunky fat. So that's the most annoying part, because it's like a part of me really wants to get fit and back into my body and feeling good about things. With that, that's great. Just have the knowledge that it will all be reversed as soon as I get pregnant. We're just kind of just vibing. We're having a good time. We're not worried about our stretch marks at the pool. Like, they're there. They prove I have a child. I'm a mom. I'm a MILF, like it's fine. So it's just a very interesting time to be pregnant, or not pregnant, to be existing. It's a very interesting time to mom, I would say. And that's the thing. I obviously will still be a mom post second child, assuming I don't have any more, because that's kind of the plan. At that point in time, I can kind of figure out what I want to do and where I go from there. We'll get into an episode in the future about the mom bod plans, the positive, the negative, the scary, the sweet, all of the above. But for now, we're in that little middle phase of just we're just chilling. We're having a good time. But the funniest thing to me is, like, when I go to the gym in the morning, I saw this girl the other day, and she was the it girl, right? She was in the slouchy sweats, like set, like she was too cool for school being there. Perfectly applied fake tan, whatnot, super toned, like just all this stuff, like the cutest shoes, like whatever. And I'm just like, and I just kind of laugh. And it's not out of insecurity. I just laugh because I immediately remind myself, I'm like, she's never been pregnant. She's never attended the gym worried about when she goes to do a chest exercise that her boobs are going to start gushing milk. She's never had that problem. I think that's just the important thing to keep in mind, is that you just don't compare yourself ever to people that aren't you, or even people that, let's say, are in the same phase of life or whatever, but are definitely not going through the same struggles. Like, that's the funny thing about self-comparison with, like, whether it's influencers or your next door neighbor or whatever. Our lives are so vastly different, and so, like, to even pretend otherwise is exhausting. So stop. That's really it. Just stop. Live your own life. The sooner you realize that, the happier you'll be. Without jumping too crazily here, the yin to the yang, while being super positive, let me be negative? No, satisfied, I should say, is that the opposite hand of me just being content with my body and everything. It has been a pleasure to witness 2 girls throughout my childhood that were what I wouldn't say they're my bullies. They were my wannabe bullies, because believe it or not, your girl's been pretty confident throughout her entire life, and both these girls I know have proven to be pretty insecure for multiple reasons. But they tried to bully me. Funny, because both of them have gotten so fat. It is the funniest thing for me, because I have witnessed it. One of them just got married recently, and I only saw because I was friends of a friend, and so I happened to see, like, the wedding pictures, and I was like, karma's a bitch. There you go, first word of the season, karma's bitch. So that was a pleasure for me, and on that note, I will leave it there. So don't be a bully, or else you might get sad and fat. And that's about it. We'll jump over to the hand in hand of fat is the Ozempic epidemic. Because I live in Utah, right? The land of perfection and fake boobs, fake tans, fake hair, fake bodies, clearly. Which, keep in mind, little disclosure, if I ever go on Ozempic, I hope you don't know. I'm sure you'll see if I was, like, skinny. But I'm talking microdosing Ozempic, where it's like, all right, cool. It's like the little, like, slight push in the gym, like, magically is like, blowing off, sorry, that was probably loud, blowing the fat off my body a little bit quicker. But yes, there is a good, I think 3 or 4 people I can already think of in my life that haven't come out publicly and said they've done Ozempic. One of them I know. One I can highly guess because she's got the Ozempic face. One is not saying it out loud, but kind of pretending it's like physically because of his workout methods. Ozempic is crazy. The problem is I'm fine with it, like using it in general. And sure, if you want to use it more than a microdose, that's fine. My issue is it's making people look so scary, like skeletons in the face, gaunt, like Ariana Grande tour that she's on, and you can see her entire rib cage. That girl is pretty gone. It's gonna be sad because I feel like it's not gonna end well, and I feel like it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen. The other reason why I don't think I'll touch Ozempic either ever or for a very, 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 very long time would be I'm gonna need fat if I ever want to do a boob job, fat transfer. We'll get into this once again in another episode. If you asked me 10 years ago, I'd been like, heck no, I don't want a boob job. If you asked me 5 years ago or 2 years ago or last month, I'd say, oh my gosh, some of these boobs are rock hard. And I'm talking about mom talk. I'm talking about your everyday influencer. I'm talking about the Alex Earls. Like they look so uncomfortable. This is not me judging those people for making those choices. Whatever makes you happy, that's fine. I'm saying for me, because I'm going to obviously look at that and be like, oh wow, I'll think about that as, oh, would I do that? Not because I want to be influenced by them or whatever. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. But a lot of them, they just look so rock hard and uncomfortable. 1, I don't want that look. 2, don't want people to see me with that look. Like, I like my ability to blend in. Doing something like that, like, yes, you're going to stand out. You're going to get the attention. I like not having that problem, if that makes sense. 3, I would want them to make them look normal. Back to, okay, my boobs before were beautiful. They were boobiful. Before I had a child. They were lovely, they were wonderful, they were me and they were mine. That's honestly what I wouldn't mind going back to. If not, like, maybe obviously a lift, that's mandated. Maybe a sneeze larger if I wanted. No, I remember my boobs. They were large enough. I was annoyed by them at times. I wished I was part of the itty bitty committee, which sadly I'm not even now. They're sadder. They're saggier. They are not tube socks. They're a little bit better than tube socks, but they're thinking about being tube socks for Halloween. That for me is a little bit of an issue. I will never be a hypocrite because one day I'll probably end up getting a fat transfer boob job. But that brings me back to my point is I can't do Ozempic because then I would lose the fat and then I would have nothing to inject into my boobs. So that would be a problem for me. And honestly, every time I bring this up, all I can think of is Rob Kardashian, because there's this whole thread side conversation of how the Kardashians and Jenners kept Rob Kardashian so fat so that he could be their family relative with the same blood match so that they could use his fat for all of their cosmetic procedures, which I'm a believer. It would make sense. Only if he was like the direct blood match and that was safe and everything. I don't know how it works. Funny concept, and it's kind of lives in the back of my brain every time this subject comes up. Where is he now? People say he's dead. Some people say he is dead. That's all I've heard, honestly. We'll have to see if he's in the next reunion or spotlight or something. But continuing Utah problems, besides Ozempic, is the peptides and tanning. We all know the one girl pretending to the other girl on TikTok that has overdone the peptides. And it's funny because she dies on the hill saying that it's because she's Croatian or something. And has anyone Googled the Croatian people lately? They don't look like that. And so it's truly hilarious because, I mean, I remember seeing years ago a video of her doing like her self-tanning routines. And back then it was like, okay, you're pushing a little bit. That's pretty dark shade. But now she's like burnt toast. I don't know if peptides make you smell. Maybe they don't. If somebody has the answer to that, please write in the comments below. Anytime I've self-tanned in the past, and that's because like it's dead of winter or whatnot, or it's for like a wedding, the smell is horrendous. They're horrendous. And so like I naturally just equate tans like that to smelling like ass. Anytime I see an influencer that looks like burnt toast pop up on my For You page, all I can think is, ew, she's stinky. I honestly, the few times that I've self-tanned, I feel bad. I apologize to my husband. I spray a lot of perfume. Sorry, my camera died. So, to continue. the peptides epidemic is almost as concerning as the Ozempic. I feel like we're going to see a lot of documentaries in the future in regards to all these people that have decided to inject things in their body, and it was not a good idea. I'm going to wrap this up just because I talked a lot longer than I was planning on some things, but I will quickly jump and record my next episode talking about the things that I said I was going to talk about. It will be fun, cool, and dandy. For now, until we post that second episode, just make sure to do all the things that you already know I'm going to ask you to do, and it's going to take 2 seconds, so please just do it. And I will love you forever because mwah, is please subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. YouTube, preferably Apple Podcast, YouTube. 5-star that for me, please. If you want to comment and say something nice or not nice, that's okay. Engagement's great. Then I'd appreciate it. I'm here for all the good times, all the gossips. And if you want me to talk about something or want me to talk about a conundrum, a issue, a topic, some advice session things, I would love to. I love giving advice, unsolicited or otherwise. I think I give good advice, and the Instagram is still alive. I'm going to try really hard this season to post links to things that I have talked about, to tag businesses, companies, creators. If you are listening as a business creator and want to collab, let's do it. Slide into the DMs. I'd appreciate it. Besides that, yeah, the Instagram will probably have updates here and there. Give that a quick follow. That would be awesome. It is Mike Life Pod on Instagram. Still is. That will not change. My handle on TikTok is Haley Jensen _ If you want to follow that, I'm hopefully going to start posting on there too. If you'd be so kind to exercise those phalanges, that means fingers for all my medical people, please hit subscribe real quick, and we'll talk next time, so that way you get a notification for when I post next time, because it would be the least obnoxious notification you'll ever get. It would be like, hey, here's some free entertainment for you. I run out of podcasts all the time to listen to. But for now, we'll see you next time. Bye.